Okay, right. So Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So thank you so much, everyone. And thank you so much, Dr. Tengku Putri, for joining our session today. Unfortunately, Dr. Aizat, again, as I've mentioned earlier, has some unforeseen circumstances. So may Allah is his undertakings, and may Allah is all the processes that he has to go through today, inshallah. So to add the barakah, let's start with Al-Fatihah. Auzubillah minasyaitonir rajim. Amin ya rabbal alamin. Okay, so just to introduce the speaker today, we have Dr. Tengku Putri Norishah Tengku Syariman, Associate Professor Dr. Tengku Putri Norishah Tengku Syariman from Multimedia University, which will be giving the topic on implementation and impact on micro-credentials in higher education. So this is part of the series that we have had last year, which is on similar topics. Last year, it was more on strategizing. Now we're going to looking at on how we implement and measure the impact of micro-credentials. And I know for many who are with us, which is the license officer for micro-credentials, I really hope that the session today will help you to again strategize any matters related to micro-credentials in your kuliah. Just to introduce the speaker today, we have Dr. Nurisha. So Dr. Nurisha is a lecturer on media arts studies, especially on media arts research and design in the Faculty of Creative Multimedia at Multimedia University. She is the chairperson of the Center for Islamic Digital Applications Contents and a Research and Development Center involved in applied research and specialized digital multimedia products for Islamic content. And she's originally trained in a computer-based teaching and learning for English language proficiency. And Dr. Tengku Putri's scope of interest has widened to include other forms of digital-based content, and hence she is focusing more on micro-credentials in MMU. And also through this platform, she focused on how individuals seek and understand the information through the multiple modes of digital-based content. So her research interests include the impact of new technologies on literacy and learning, and the development of interactive applications that have impact on the lives of individuals. So she really fit and subject matter experts for the topic today. I really hope it is beneficial session for everyone, and feel free to ask questions in the chat box due to she's having difficulty to I'm not sure whether she's able to listen to our introductions today, but if not, then feel free to ask the question in the chat box. I hope that give a justice to Dr. Putri in welcoming her to the session today. Okay, so okay, Dr. Putri, the session is yours. I have just introduced you just now, so the session is yours.
Okay, sorry, as I because I also switch on my phone. So I switch on my phone now. Later on, maybe you answer the question. I switch on my phone again. Maybe during answer the question session, I just off my phone.
Sure.
Let me switch on. All right. Good morning and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you to UIAM for inviting me to share, basically, just to share our experience in MMU, how we implement micro-credentials in MMU, how we implement and how we develop and implement micro-credentials in MMU, as well as just to explain to you some of the benefits of micro-credentials, for offering micro-credentials. Okay, so let me share the screen with everyone. You can hear me, right? Okay, is everything fine?
Yes, very clear. Yeah.
Okay, just let me share. Yeah. Can you see my screen? Okay, all right. All right. So our topic today is micro-credentials in higher education, the implementation impact. We have started development of micro-credentials since 2019. So we are still also quite new in micro-credential development, maybe compared to other universities in overseas. However, when we started in 2019, it was still very new in Malaysia, but I think nowadays most of the universities in Malaysia are developing micro-credentials already. Yeah. Okay. So why we started on our journey to develop micro-credentials because the reason is because we believe in flexible education. We believe in lifelong learning. And I think this is one of the pillars of the higher education strategy in Malaysia. And also, I think globally, everybody, they are focusing on delivering lifelong learning courses, whether it's ODL, Open Distance Learning courses, MOOCs, and now, of course, micro-credentials. So within the MMU itself, we like to offer courses not just within the campus. We want to also offer our courses to students or learners who who are beyond, who live beyond our campus. Okay, so they may not be able to come to our campus, so we will do our best to offer our courses to people or learners who are not able to come to campus, but they still want to learn. Okay, so we have offered a few initiatives in terms of lifelong learning. One, of course, we have APEL. We do offer APEL A, APEL C, and now we also have APEL M. And by next year, we'll have APEL Q. So APEL is very important because we feel that some people, they do not meet the entry requirement to enter an academic program. So through APEL, they would be able to have access to different academic programs, even though they may not meet the normal entry requirement. And through APEL C, now those who have a lot of working experience, for example, or a lot of life experiences, we can also basically do credit transfer of their prior experiential learning into our academic program. So in this way, we're opening our program to non-conventional students, those who are unable to come to campus, those who are, perhaps do not meet the entry requirement, okay, or those who prefer to work while studying. Okay. So besides APEL, other flexible education types that we offer, of course, our ODL programs, and I think even most universities in Malaysia have ODL programs. Even though some of us are conventional universities, MMU is basically a conventional university like UIA, but we do offer ODL programs, and now we are progressing towards developing credentials for the non-conventional students. Okay, so when you look at micro-credential, what does it mean? So basically we refer to NQA. Okay, because NQA is basically the Malaysian Qualification Agency, and they started the micro-credential in Malaysia was championed by NQA. Okay, and now KPT, it started with NQA, but now KPT is also have realized, whether NQA is under KPT, but KPT on the whole did not really champion credentials, but it was started by people in NQA, and they came out with the GGP in 2019. I think the first DGP was in 2018, and then later on they had another DGP. Hello. sorry, there's so basically the micro-credentials were championed by NQA, okay? And so NQA came out with this definition of micro-credential. So micro-credential is defined as a digital certification of assessed knowledge, skills, and competencies in a specific area or field, which can be a component of accredited program or standalone courses, supporting the professional, technical, academic, and personal development of the learners. So we see here, so it refers to what is. So what is micro-credential? It is a digital certification of assessed knowledge, skills, and competencies. So micro-credential is basically a digital certification. It certifies whether you have a specific knowledge or a specific skill or competency. Okay, but the scope, what is the scope like? The scope is, it is in a specific or narrow area of study or practice. So when we talk about micro-credential courses, it's always related to micro-learning. Okay, so compared to an academic program, which is about 4 years, the duration will be about 4 years, consists of about 40 over courses. Micro-credential will probably be a narrow area of study. Yeah? Maybe just one specific area, for example, maybe just on data science, or maybe if it's a academic program, maybe it's a data science course. Or it could be for professional growth, it could be something on Adobe, one of Adobe applications, for example, on Adobe Photoshop. So it's very narrow compared to an entire academic program. Okay, so that is the scope. Now the design is it could be when you design the micro-credential courses, it could be a standalone course, okay, meaning it stands on its own, or it could be a component of an accredited program, meaning it is part of it was taken from an academic program. Okay, so but standalone means it's not related, it's not part of any academic program. It stands alone. It can certify the competency of or a knowledge of a person or a skill of a person just on one very narrow area of study, and it is not related to any academic program. So that's standalone. Okay. So what's the purpose? Basically, why NQA introduced micro-credential courses is because the government, I think Malaysia, even any other country in the world, we want to support the professional, technical, and personal development of the learners, and it could be also for personal growth, meaning like if someone want to learn about cooking, so maybe there could be a micro-credential course on cooking Chinese cuisine. So that is a personal growth, more for personal growth. Okay, but it could also be used to support professional development of the learners. Okay, for example, if they have a certain, if they're certified in a certain area of study or certain skill or competency, it could be used to, to find a better job. It could be used for them to, to be promoted, for example. So it may support their professional growth as well. Okay. So when you look at, so that according to NQA GGP, okay, and this is what we adhere to in Malaysia, is that there are three categories of micro-credential. Now, the first one is micro-credentials, which are component of accredited programs of a higher education provider. Okay, so a program leader, a program owner in UIAM, a program owner would probably be the faculty, right? So a faculty may want to develop micro-credentials from courses that are part of an existing academic program, right? So so maybe you have one academic program, so maybe you want to take several courses from that program, and you want to develop micro-credentials from these courses. So upon completion of these MCs, which were taken from an accredited program, so it has to be accredited. It could either be provisional or full accredited programs. Okay, so upon completion of one or several of the micro-credentials from which are component of an accredited program, the learners are now eligible to apply for grade transfer. Okay, so for example, UIM, you have a degree in economics. So maybe you want to develop credentials from the courses in the economic degree course, in the Bachelor of Economics course. So maybe later on the learner decides that, oh, maybe I want to take a degree. I want to continue my studies in UIAM. So you can actually grade transfer, making the grades that the students has achieved in the mark credentials taken from the economics degree in UIAM can be grade transfer. You can automatically grade transfer, okay? Because it was taken from your academic program, okay? The topics are probably the same with the topics in the course that a conventional student would take at UIM. So because the topics are the same, the learning outcomes are the same, so you can just do a grade transfer, okay? And then once you do the grade transfer, of course, the student can be admitted into the academic program and maybe take the rest of the courses like a conventional student, okay? All right, the second category is micro-credentials, which are components of accredited programs of multiple higher education universities or provider, meaning that, you know, let's say UIM, MMU, we collaborate to offer micro-credentials together, okay? And so let's say we have an MBA, UIA has an MBA. So then we develop micro-credentials from our MBA programs, okay? And then we decide that, you know, you will recognize our micro-credentials that we have developed from MMU MBA, and MMU will also recognize the MBA from the UIM. Okay, so so basically the student can then choose. They can, if we recognize each other micro-credentials, which are component from our own from our MBAs. Therefore, the student can decide to that even though the student has taken their micro-credentials from MMU, but because it is recognized by UIM, they can continue or further their studies at UIM because you recognize the micro-credentials developed by MMU, and similarly, MMU can also recognize the micro-credentials developed in UIM, and if the student wants to continue their studies in MMU, we can also do the grade transfer from the micro-credentials developed by UIM, because there is there's an MOA, memorandum of agreement between MMU and UIM, or we can do a joint degree, meaning a joint degree, and the joint degree consists of micro-credentials developed by both MMU and UIM. Okay, so that's what it means by micro-credentials, which are components of accredited programs of multiple higher education providers. However, so far in Malaysia, I think there isn't any university that's actually embarked on this second category. Okay, MMU, we are planning to do this, but we are planning to do this with our GLU our partner universities in the GLU group. So GLU universities, government linked universities, consist of MMU, UNITEN, UTP, UniKL. We are planning to develop the micro-credentials, which are components of accredited programs of multiple HEPs. So we are planning to do that. Okay, but not yet. Okay, so far none. I think there isn't any university that has actually started on this. But inshallah, we are going to start on this. So the third category is standalone micro-credential. Now this the category courses under the standalone micro-credential category. The purpose of these standalone micro-credentials are to fulfill the demand for new knowledge or specific skills and competencies of the workforce. So this is definitely targeted for the industries, yeah, because the purpose of taking standalone MC is not to continue, basically not really to continue to further their studies. but they just want to increase, develop their competencies in specific skill. So such courses can include, it could be selected courses from any undergraduate or postgraduate program. And you want to just take just one course from any accredited program, and then you develop it as standalone. It could be professional development courses. For example, as I said before, micro-credential course in Adobe Photoshop, micro-credential course in Power BI, so just professional development courses, or any other short courses. So mainly they're not really, the purpose of taking this standalone MCs is not to further studies in any academic program. It's just to gain some knowledge, or just to certify the knowledge or skill in just very specific area of study, specific skills. Okay, and mainly this is targeted for the industries. Okay, so these are the category 1. Let's say category 1 is from the academic program. Okay, so maybe you have several academic programs. So in this academic program, you can maybe just select one course or two. Maybe you can select 2-3 courses, and then you can further, from these courses also, you can further make it smaller. Okay, make it more, maybe for course 1, for example, you just want to develop this topic 1 and topic 2 from course 1 into micro-credentials. Or even you can even make it even smaller. You can do and you can maybe just take module 1 and 2 from topic 1, or module 3 and 4 from topic 2. Okay. So recently we had discussion at KPT. KPT, according to when you do what we call unpacking, because micro-credential courses are basically unpacking courses from, let's say, from an academic program. You can how small can you go? How small can you unpack? So when we did discussion so we're going to have a micro-credential framework. We are currently developing a micro-credential framework together with NQA and KPT, and I think that the micro-credential framework will be a guideline for all universities. So according to the discussion we had, you can actually develop one course as one micro-credential. If you want to go smaller, you can select topics in the course to be a micro-credential, or you can also choose from the topic. You can even select certain modules from a topic to be a micro-credential. Okay, just that it has to be even the smallest component has to be must have 40 SLT hours. Okay, it has to be the minimum duration is 40 SLT hours. All right, so this is like you unpack the micro-credential courses from an academic book. Okay, so you can unpack it as according to the courses, or you can make it smaller. As I said before, it can unpack up to topic level, a topic from a course, or if you want to go smaller, you can unpack from the topic of a course. You can unpack until it is just the specific module from a topic in a course. So you can go as how small, that's up to you. All right. However, if you want to do grade transfer, okay, you must make sure that you will cover all the modules in the course. Then only you can do the grade transfer. Okay, you cannot do the grade transfer if the student, okay, let's say the learner only take module 2 and then he or she wants to do grade transfer. That's not possible. He or she must complete all the modules in the course or all the topics in the course in order to do the grade transfer. How you unpack, up to you, up to the university. Okay, how small you want to unpack. It's just that for every micro-credential course, the minimum SLT hour has to be 40. Okay, whether it is from an academic program or it's standalone, the minimum SLT hour is 40. Okay. So this is standalone. So we don't look at category 2 because it doesn't exist. The category, we look at this category 1 and category 2, category 3, because I think so far there isn't any university that has developed category 2. we are going to start on it, but we haven't just starting. Okay, we just started. Okay, but mostly all universities in Malaysia, they just have category 1 and 3. Yeah. So category 3 is standalone. So you can just, basically it's not unpacked for any academic program. So you can, even it's unpacked, it will probably be at this level, module 1, module 2, this level. So here it could be, it could be market courses from a professional development purpose. So let's say Adobe professional credential. It could be a niche program. It could be just a specific credential on data science. It could be summer school programs. For example, you want to offer credential courses to school children. So for their, during the school break. So that could be also be a macro credential. Okay. All right. Okay, we can ask questions later. Let's continue. Okay. Now, since these are some of the features of macro courses, the first one, you must have, it is outcome based. Okay. So for every macro you must state the learning outcome or learning outcomes. For example, if you unpack, let's say the course only, okay, let's say you actually unpack the macro from let's say you say one course in a program is a macro credential, so you must state all the learning outcomes, definitely. But if you unpack a topic from the course, maybe only one learning outcome per topic. But if you unpack the module from the topic, then you must have learning outcome at the module level, at the module level. Okay. So, but you must state the learning gain to be expected from the course. And of course, the learning outcome, like any other learning outcome, it has to be measurable. It has to be something that you can measure. Okay. I think we all know about learning outcomes. We have gone through training on writing learning outcomes. Basically, the learning outcome has to be something that can be measurably stated, is realistic, something that the learner can achieve, and it's very clear what is expected, what you expect them to do. Okay. So and the minimum for a credential course, the minimum has to be 40 SLT hours. Okay, minimum, regardless of you unpack it at course level, topic level, or module level, it still has to be the minimum is 40 SLT hours. Okay, the minimum, so meaning like a course, it can be more than 40 SLT lah, right? You probably be more than 40 SLT, but maybe at the topic or module level, it could be 40 SLT hours. Yeah. So it's only minimum, it could be more. Okay. All right. Another feature of macro credential, it has to be industry driven. Okay. Because most probably the learners who will be taking the macro credential are not those who are taking conventional courses. And basically, when you want to develop macro credential, it has to meet the needs of the employers, basically, the requirements that are needed by employers. Okay, all right. So because you develop it for the industry. Okay, so meaning industry driven means like when you develop the courses, you have to include content that are more relevant to the industry. Perhaps you have to include something like more case studies related to the industry. Okay. So you cannot be very academic, even though the macro credential course is developed from an accredited program. The content should be slightly different from the content you provide to your students on campus. It should be more industry driven, in the sense that maybe you can include more case studies. You could include some topics related to the industry. Okay, so that's what we have been doing as well for our macro credentials, because our target learners are adult learners who are from the industry. Okay, now the delivery of the macro credential courses I think many people have misunderstood that they think macro-credential courses are only online, which is not true. It can be offered as an online course. It can also be offered as a conventional face-to-face, normal face-to-face classroom-based course, or it could be a hybrid mode. It could be on hybrid mode, meaning you have both online as well as face-to-face sessions, physical face-to-face sessions. So the most important thing is you want to focus on flexibility. So if your client, if your learner wants it to be online because they are working, so you offer it online. But maybe your learners feel they can come to UIM during weekends. So you can also offer your macro-credential during weekends, but it's a physical face-to-face course. Okay, so the delivery is basically very flexible according to the needs of your learners. It's personalized because you actually allow learners to learn at their own pace. So you offer all your macro-credential, and basically it's like Coursera, or Udemy. Learners can just go to your portal and they can select which macro-credential they want to study, and so it doesn't really necessarily have to follow your semester system. So and they can pick and choose which macro-credential they want to take at any time and anywhere. So it is something they can learn at their own pace. Okay, so even though it is, for example, you develop macro-credentials from an academic program, but unlike an academic program where there is like a fixed schedule for your courses, right? It is in a conventional academic program. But for a macro-credential developed even from an accredited academic program, the students can learn at their own pace. They can maybe take module 1 this semester, and they want to take module 3 in another time. So they do not follow a fixed schedule compared to a conventional academic program. When he says that it's secure and shareable, because for every macro-credential course, you must have two things. So you must, at the end of the macro-credential course, you have to provide to the learners either a digital badge and a Malaysian macro-credential statement. Okay, for every macro-credential course, once they pass the assessment, okay, there's a difference between macro-credential and a normal short course. Macro-credential, you need to have assessment. You must have assessment. The purpose of the assessment is to certify that this student or this learner has gained a specific competency. They do have that competency. And basically the macro-credential course certifies that this learner has this competency, has this skill. So you must have an assessment. Okay. And once the student or learner has passed that assessment, you must then award the student with a digital badge and a Malaysia macro-credential statement. Okay, so the Malaysia macro-credential statement, which is compulsory according to NQA, is like a transcript. So in MME, we do provide the digital badge. We also we do award the students with two things: the digital badge and also the Malaysia macro-credential statement, which is like a transcript. But the digital badge and the transcript both something that is secure and shareable, meaning secure means that you have to make sure that the digital badges, when you award the digital badge, is the information in the credential cannot be hacked into. People cannot go into the cannot change the information in the digital credential. Okay, so it has to be secure. Because what will happen is that when the learners they have received the digital badge, they will probably share it, okay, in any media social platforms. So, for example, MMU, our learners, they have been sharing their digital badge in LinkedIn, in Facebook, and they have actually shared it online. And therefore, it's very important that these digital badges are very secure, that people just cannot simply, hack into the system and change the information in the digital badge. Okay, so that's why what we have done is that we have subscribed to a digital credentialing platform. In our case, we have subscribed to Credible. There are many digital credentialing platforms available. There is, I think another one is Credly. we have subscribed to Credible. And why we have subscribed to the Credible platform? Because it's very secure. It has blockchain technology, which makes sure that people can't just hack into the system and change the information in the digital badge. So it's very important that the digital badge has to be secure and it's shareable, meaning the learners can just share it on any platform, and because it's very secure. Okay, and then you also to be transparent, because the learners, mainly adult learners, they want to know what's the purpose of them taking this micro-credential. So you must, from the beginning of the micro-credential course, they need to know what is the outcome, what is the learning outcome, how the teacher learning will happen. Will there be face-to-face sessions? Will they just be assessing self-instructional materials, meaning they will just learn on their own? So they need to know how the teaching and learning will happen. Okay, and then what is the assessment? What do they need to do to pass the course? Maybe so you need to inform the learners that they would probably need to do an assignment. They probably need to pass a quiz. So you just have to tell them, inform the learners what is the assessment and how will they be recognized. How will be, if they have taken the course and they pass the assessment, how will they be recognized? So you have to inform them, or we will be providing you with a digital badge as well as a Malaysian micro-credential statement. Okay, so you have to be very transparent from the beginning. Okay, so so they know what is expected. Okay, right? All right, so so how do you implement micro-credential? All right, so at the university level, to implement micro-credential, it's very important that that the entire university supports this initiative. Okay, because we need everybody to be able to work together to make sure that this initiative will be a success. Okay, so when you implement micro-credential, the stakeholders that would be involved are the management, I mean the management of the university, because it's very important that the leaders in the university support this initiative. Okay, and then you also need a steering committee or a center that will coordinate the whole implementation. Okay, so in MMU, my center, we are the Center of Lifelong Learning. We are actually the steering committee for the micro-credential development in MMU. So perhaps there should be a steering committee or a center at the university level that would coordinate the whole implementation of the micro-credential initiative. We need as another stakeholder are the faculties. Because why the faculties? Because most probably the subject matter experts and the trainers, if you have like trainers involved, if it's not a self-paced micro-credential course, you probably need trainers. So most probably the trainers are from the faculties. So you do need the faculties to be involved as a major stakeholder. And then marketing. The marketing department is also important because they would have to be the ones to go out to promote and sell your micro-credential courses. And then in terms of deployment, you also need to include the IT division of your university, as well as the quality assurance division to ensure that your micro-credential courses are of high quality. Okay, so they are meaning that when you implement, it's not just at the faculty level, it has to involve many stakeholders within the university and also outside, maybe the industries. You need to involve your industry partners as well. Huh? Right. So in terms of like in MMU, we're talking about management support. I'm really sorry because we don't really use Zoom in MMU, so I'm not really familiar with Zoom. Okay, in terms of management support, in MMU, we started to develop micro-credential because it is a strategy of our university that you want to create a digital learning environment, not just for our internal students or conventional students, but also our potential students beyond the campus. So that's why we have for digital learning strategy, so this should be strategy. We have also embarked on lifelong learning, and because of that, we have set up a center or a steering committee at the university level to basically lead the initiative, which is my center. Okay. So, university management at the management level or the leadership level, they must have a strategy whereby they understand that macro-credential courses is very important for the future of the university. Okay, so it has to start from the leadership or management level. Okay, right. So and once we have the centralized committee, centralized steering committee. Okay, for NIMMU is my center lead, what we call sales lead. Why is it important to have a centralized coordination? Okay. Yeah. Why is it important? Because the centralized steering committee or center needs to develop the macro-credential policy and framework at the university level. Okay, it's best that the centralized steering committee or center needs to develop that policy or framework. You see, that policy or framework will guide how you will develop, implement, and also offer the macro-credential courses. Okay, so so in MMU we do have a policy and framework for the macro-credential initiative, and this provides sort of like it determines how we basically develop our macro-credentials, how we offer macro-credentials, what are some of the rules and regulations in terms of the whole development and offering of macro-credential courses. Okay, and then we also have what we call the course template. Okay, so we do have a course template for macro-credential because we do unpack, because in MMU, most of our macro-credentials are taken or unpacked from an academic program. So we do have some course templates, which I will show to you shortly. I will share with you shortly. So the MC course templates will, will basic guide lecturers when they want to unpack the courses, the macro-credential courses from an academic course in an accredited program. And then we also have the centralized committee will also develop the standard operating procedures, the SOP. Okay, because there has to be a SOP when we develop macro-credentials. There has to be an SOP that the faculties have to follow. Okay, and then we at the centralized level as well, we have also what we call we have MC champions. Okay, we have appointed MC champions at the faculty. Okay, because we know that it's very important that the faculties are involved. So we do appoint MC champions, or meaning that we appoint like a specific person in the faculty who would help us to coordinate the whole macro-credential implementation. Okay, so we have what we call the macro-credential champions at the faculty level, and based on the MC macro-credential policy and framework, we have also developed the guideline, specific guidelines for lecturers and also for the learners. Okay, so for the lecturer is how, what are the procedures, we explain in detail, basically we explain in detail the SOP, how they can prepare content for the macro-credentials. And we also have guidelines for students as well, how do they learn through macro-credentials. So, so all this is developed at the centralized committee, because the centralized committee will coordinate the implementation of the macro-credential courses. for all the faculties. So we have developed this at the university level. Okay. Okay. So in terms of the macroprudential operational framework, the units involved. So let me share with you. In terms of idea generation, when we develop MC, it usually starts, even though we coordinate, but the idea would have to be from the faculty, okay? Because the content is from the faculty, okay, most of the time, okay? So the idea of to develop the macroprudential course would be from the faculty. So this will involve the faculty macroprudential champion and the subject matter experts in the faculty, as well as the industry partner, because you will always need to basically basically you need to discuss with the industries what type of macroprudential courses would they want, okay, because you want to sell to the industry. So it's best that you also involve the industry when you want to develop your macroprudential courses, because you want to offer courses to the industry. Okay, so the idea would be from the faculty. Okay, right? And then once you have the idea of what macroprudential you would like to develop, the next stage is to design and develop it. To design and develop the macroprudential, you need, first of all, to approve the macroprudential. And to approve the macroprudential is, now if the macroprudential course is developed from an academic program, you need to approve it first. So that the approval has to be by the academic board at the faculty and university level. So what we do in MMU, if the macroprudential course is unpacked from an academic program, the macroprudential course has to be approved first by the academic board at the faculty level, and then endorsed at the university level. Okay, all right. So at the design development stage is once the macroprudential course has been approved by the academic board, then we will then proceed to develop the course, and it involves as well the media production unit, meaning the multimedia programmers, the graphic designers, and so on. But they will develop the course, especially with an online course. Okay. And then once the course is developed, it needs to be, it has to go through quality assurance, and this will involve the quality unit at the university level. They will assess the macroprudential courses to make sure that the macroprudential courses is of high quality. Okay, and then it involves as well the marketing and sale, because they will need to go out and promote the macroprudential courses. And finally, once you have students, you need to be able to manage, deploy, and award the digital badges. So when in MMU, we mainly deploy the macroprudential courses through what we call a macroprudential learning platform. It's where we register and manage the learners. This is where we deliver the macroprudential teacher learning activities, as well as the assessment. And this is also through the learning platform, we also award the digital badges and the Malaysian macroprudential statement. And all payments also will be done through the macroprudential learning platform. Okay, so even though some of the courses involve a hybrid, and not all MMU macroprudential courses are online, some of it, for example, the macroprudential courses developed from the from the Masters of Engineering program is a hybrid mode. It is offered in a hybrid mode. So even though there are physical face-to-face sessions with learners, we still register the learners through the macroprudential learning platform. We still register the students through this platform. And in this platform, even though they have face-to-face session, we also upload the content in this macroprudential learning platform. The content are the self-instructional materials. So we do upload in the macroprudential learning platform, and the assessment is also provided through the macroprudential learning platform, and we also key in the results of the assessment in the micro-credential learning platform. So it doesn't matter whether it's offered online or you still have face-to-face session, physical face-to-face session, meaning you offer the micro-credential in hybrid mode. It's best that you manage your students through a system, through a learning platform. Okay. All right. So for example, this is our micro-credential learning platform. So there are several course categories at the moment that we offer. We have business courses, IT and engineering. We even have professional. So these courses, the business studies, and then the engineering and IT, these are courses we unpack from our academic programs. But we also have some courses for professional learning. So these ones, these micro-credential courses are the standalone micro-credential courses. So if the learner go to the up to our platform, they can select the course category. So for example, if they select the business and management micro-credential category, from here they can see the list of micro-credential courses which they can register and learn, and also if they pass, they can be awarded with a credential. So from this category, they choose a course, micro-credential course. Let's say they select one of the courses, then they can go into the the homepage of the micro-credential course itself. So this course is what we call the change management course. It has its own coding. So everything that starts with V in MMU is a micro-credential course. So in the change management course, in this micro-credential course, we do have course content, the self-instructional materials, and then we do have the assessment. Okay, and there are other in this platform, there are other tools that we provide to lecturers, so they can do things like discussion with students. They can also do like face-to-face session, online face-to-face session with students or with learners. So this is basically the page for the specific micro-credential course, right? So the learning through micro-credential courses, we include self-instructional materials like videos, or it could be an interactive content. There is some courses have face-to-face sessions. It could be an online session. It could even be a physical session. If it's online, we use Microsoft Teams, we use as well Google, Zoom, and DingTalk. We have like students from China, so they use DingTalk for their face-to-face sessions. And there are also online learning activities like asynchronous discussion, non-face-to-face discussion using the discussion board. And they also learn independently, like they read articles, they complete the assignment. So in total, for every micro-credential course, it will consist of 40 SLT hours. So 40 SLT hours consists of doing all this. So they study the self-instruction materials, they attend the face-to-face asynchronous sessions, whether online or offline. They are involved in online activities, and they do their own independent reading and learning, and they also have to complete an assessment. So all of this is equivalent to 40 SLT hours for the micro-credential, okay? So at the end, once they have passed the assessment, they will be awarded with a digital badge. This is the digital badge on the left-hand side, which is very secure because it is awarded through a credible platform. And then we also provide them with a transcript. So both of these credentials, it is an indicator, or it recognizes the accomplishment or skill that the learner has achieved, and it is something they can share. It can be something they can display, and it is something they can also that anybody can verify that this is certified by MMU. Okay, right? Right. So in the digital badge itself, it includes all the information about the course, okay, and who has taken the course, when it was issued, and what are the skills that the learner has achieved. Okay, and with these credentials, they can just share it on any social media platform. Okay, so for example, our digital badges have been shared on LinkedIn, for example. Okay. Okay. So what is the credential development process? Okay. Close this one. Okay. Okay. Hello? All right. Okay. All right. So this is the whole flow. Okay, the whole credential course development flow. So as I mentioned before, because the stakeholders will mainly involve the faculty is very important, right? So faculty and the idea of what type of credentials they want to, that the faculty would like to offer, actually the idea is from the faculty. So for the centralized center lead, we will need to conduct what we call a credential development workshop for the faculties. In the workshop, we will train the lecturers you know, what they need to do, we will give them a checklist, what they need to, the checklist will inform them what they need to do in order to develop their credential courses. Okay, and they will need to fill in as well an application form to offer credential course, and it includes what we call the course template, the credential course information template. Now, all this, the application form to offer the credential course and the credential course information template, it needs to be approved first. It needs to be approved by the faculty academic committee and endorsed by the university academic board. Okay, if it is from an academic program. Okay, meaning that you need approval if the course, the credential course is unpacked or taken from an academic accredited academic program. If it's not, you do not need approval. You do not need approval. Standalone, you do not need approval. Only for credential courses from an academic program. All right. So once we have received approval from the faculty academic committee as well as the university academic board, we can then proceed to develop the micro-credential. Okay. So, okay. So throughout the development, there need to be a progress checking, review, and sign off between the faculty and the development center, and of course it has to be reviewed before you can approve that before you can approve the offering of the credential course. And also remember to apply IP. Apply IP meaning get copyright for your MC course, because if you do not have an copyright or IP for the MC course, anybody can just copy your credential course. Okay, then only you will, once you receive IP, then you can offer the credential course through the learning platform. So again, let's see, for example, here. Right? So at this stage, it's very important for the lecturers or the lecturers on the faculty to fill in the credential information form. It's like the course template. And then for the development, this will include people from or staff from the development, the IT development center. So because for the MC development, to develop the MC, you need to have you need to do instructional design, and then based on the instruction design, you will create a storyboard, produce the script, and then develop the self-instructional materials. Okay, this is very important if you're offering the credential course through as an online micro-credential course. All right. If it's just a face-to-face, maybe you do not really need to do the development of self-instruction materials. But then if you do not develop self-instruction materials, maybe you cannot really be that flexible. You have to offer it just like any conventional course. I mean, it's just a face-to-face session. Okay, right? But in MMU we have both. We have either the online micro-credential course or the hybrid. So even the hybrid one, we do provide the self-instruction materials. So that's why we have the in the development flow, we do include the development of the self-instruction materials, which involve instruction design, storyboard creation, and script production, and the development of the self-instruction material itself. Right. So, as I mentioned again, I need to stress, faculty support is very important. Faculty lecturers have to be involved because the subject matter experts are at the faculty. Okay, so they will be involved in unpacking or unbundling the courses, right? Whether you want to unbundle the micro-credential as just at the course level, or whether you want to unbundle it at the topic or module level, it depends on the lecturers. Okay, and when you unpack, it has to be approved by the academic committee at the faculty and university level. The faculty is also important for the development of self-instruction materials because you want to develop the SIMS according to instruction design principles, and it involves as well the multimedia production unit. Okay, and the lecturers also have to be ready to be the micro-credential subject matter experts and trainers. So you need as well to train the lecturers on how to develop the self-instruction materials, how to deliver the courses, as trainers, and how to assess the students or the learners for micro-credential, okay, for micro-credentials, because micro-credentials, they are not like an academic program, which is like one semester long course, right? It's probably the duration is shorter, and perhaps the assessment was also only one assessment. So how you assess students also you need to conduct training for lecturers as well, okay? So we have been conducting training for lecturers in MMU on how to develop the self-instruction materials, on how to deliver the courses, and also how to assess students. So the subject matter expert role is really to identify and understand the needs of the target audience, because you need, for example, you're developing, let's say, a data science course for a specific audience. So you need to identify what do they need, for them to really be able to achieve the learning outcomes of that course. So then they have to prepare the learning materials. They have to attend the development sessions, like attend a recording session. They have to prepare the assessment. And of course, they have to manage and monitor the teaching and learning of the micro-credential course as well. So they're involved in the whole implementation of the micro-credential course requires the participation of the SMEs, who are mainly lecturers from the faculty. Okay. Okay, so this example of the course information template, right? So the MMU micro-credential course information gives section 1 is a general information about the micro-credential course, when they want to, of the date to offer, the title of the MC course, which program, if it's unpacked, which program was this course unbundled or unpacked from, and when and at which faculty. The name, the leader's name is the subject expert name. The leader, if it involves more than one person. If it's just one person, just write the his or her name at the team leader's name. Okay, or if perhaps they have a team, so you can include the members here. Okay, right. In terms of the title of the course, the title must clearly and specifically reflect the course. Okay, so example is foundation of data science. okay, or introduction to cybersecurity, okay. So it does clearly and specifically reflect the course. Okay. The next, you have also the synopsis. Right, so the synopsis, this example is synopsis. So this micronesia course is about the Power BI desktop, basics of using Power BI desktop software. So it has to be in the synopsis, you need to include the purpose, the benefit, the key content, the learning strategy, the target audience as well, the prerequisite knowledge if required. Okay. Okay, so for example, I show here, right? Duration is only a 2-hour-long macronesia course, very specific. The learning mode is a project-based macronesia course. The purpose is the learner will learn the basics of using Power BI desktop. The learning content is the learner will analyze data on credit card defaults with Power BI desktop. And they will also be importing, transforming, and visualizing the data. Okay, who is the target audience? Learners are just starting this learning, looking to get started with the software, and there is no prerequisite. So very clear this is the course synopsis for the macro-credential course. It's very transparent, very clear to the student what they will learn, how long will they learn the course, okay, and basically I think the learning outcomes are also there, okay. Analyzing data, the learning content, it reflects the learning outcome as well. Okay, and then next, if the macroeconomic course is from an academic program, or so you need to write down the details of the original course. So for example, the macroeconomic course is from the human resource management subject. The subject matter experts are Professor Dr. Chew Kok Wai, Dr. Intan Suraya. The program is actually a postgraduate level program, and these are the CLOs of that course. Okay, so this is the original academic course from which the macro-credential course was unbundled or unpacked. Okay, and then we will now unpack the macro-credential course. So in MMU, we unpack according to we unpack the course to 3 different macro-credential courses. So this is the original course. We have unpacked this course. We unpack this course. This is the original academic course. We unpack it into 3 different macro-credential courses. All right. And what we've done is each macro-credential course have about 2 to 3 topics related to maximum 1 or 2 learning course learning outcome. Okay, but in total, each macro-credential course, the duration is only 2 weeks. In our case, 2 weeks, and is also 40 SLT hours. Consists of 40 SLT hours. Right. So from this academic course, we have unpacked to 3 different macro-credential courses. Okay. But as I said before, you can also the course itself, this course can be 1 macro-credential. You don't have to unpack to the topic level. Basically, we have unpacked the topic level, or some people make it even smaller to module level. So you don't have to do that. You can be one course, 1 macro-credential. That's also possible. Okay, you don't really need to unpack up to the topic level like what we did. Okay, now these are the components of a macro-credential course. For every macro-credential course, we will usually start with an overview. We need to be transparent with learners. We need to inform them what are the learning outcomes of the macro-credential course. The learning outcomes of a macro-credential course should not be more than, do not make too many. For every macro-credential course in MMU, we only have about 1 or 2 learning outcomes. For every maximum of 2 for each macro-credential course. And the content could be, the face-to-face lecture or tutorial. You also provide self-instructional materials. We do provide notes and maybe even links to the some readings, like for example an ebook. So we do provide content, and then there are some learning activities that students need to do. They need to watch the video, they need to read, they can listen to a podcast. There are some group work, problem-based group work they need to do. And then at the end, there is an assessment. Assessment is usually only one per macro-credential course. So the assignment could be, the assessment could be an assignment, it could be a mini project, or it could be an online test. So usually one macro-credential would be only one assessment, because you only have one or two learning outcome, right? So it could be, if it's two, maybe you have two assessment, but maybe if it's one learning outcome, only one assessment. Okay. All right. So, and then we also provide other learning resources. So for example, you can provide links to YouTube videos and so on. So other content, curated content could also be provided to students or learners which are not developed by UIM. But when you talk about content here, this is something developed by UIM. But learning resources could be some content that is not developed by UIM, but you can, provide access to students through, through YouTube and so on. Okay, so basically this is the component, the pedagogy framework for every macro-credential course in MMU. So, all right. So finally, of course, it needs to be approved. So when you develop a macro-credential course, especially from accredited programs, it needs to be approved. Before it is offered, it needs to be approved. Okay, right? For credit-bearing macro-credential, it needs to be approved at the faculty level and as well at the university level. Okay, right. So for this, the example that I showed you, this is the learning pathway. The original MMU course, for example, is the change management subject. From this subject, we have unbundle or unpack. In Malay, it's called pecah kecil. So it's unpacking. You unpack or you unbundle from this change management course into 3 different macro-credential courses. So why we have unbundled it? Because we feel that it's easier to sell to the industry when we unbundle the academic course. Okay, so for the change management subject, we have unbundled or unpacked. Sorry, unpacked. We unpack the course into 3 different macro-credential courses. Each macro-credential course is equivalent to 40 SLT hours. All right, duration is 2 weeks. There are no final examination. We offer mainly in online distance mode. However, we also offer it hybrid mode to certain clients. Some clients, they still want the face-to-face physical session. So we do offer also the hybrid mode. But its duration is still 2 weeks, right? Regardless of whether it's online or physical. So this change management course is the first macro-credential course is the strategic change management. The second one is value creation through organizational change. It's basically about organizational change. And the third one is effective change management approaches. So all these macro-credential courses were unpacked from this change management subject at from the MBA program. So if the students have completed all 3 macro-credentials and the students have also passed the assessment for all 3 macro-credentials, then if they want to carry grade transfer, they can. We can automatically grade transfer the macro-credential, the results of the macro-credential courses to an academic course. So, right? So basically, you can just, you can accept the results and just do the grade transfer for the change management course. So this is for the MBA program. We have also developed macro-credentials from the engineering, master engineering. So master engineering is because it's 4 credit hour. We have unpacked it into 4 different macro-credential courses. Okay. Right. So in MMU, this is our learning platform. And then we have a centralized committee or centralized center that is lead, a Center for Lifelong Learning and Academic Content Development. We initiate, we lead, basically we lead and initiate the macro-credential development in Multimedia University. Okay. Okay, so these are the macro-credentials that we currently have developed from the MBA program, from the Master Engineering, and we're going to start offering the Master of Computer Science this year. And we also have the Diploma of Business, and we also have several standalone macro-credential courses as well. Okay, so for the MBA program, we have developed macro-credentials from 8 subjects. Okay, from the Master Engineering, we have developed macro-credential from 11. So this is only 8, but there are actually another 3. Okay, we also actually in total we have developed macro-credentials from 11 subjects for the Master Engineering program. Okay, all right. So this is how we develop the self-instructional materials. For the macro-credential, we provide self-instructional materials. So self-instructional materials are like little content that students can or learners can use to learn on their own. Okay, so meaning even though we have the face-to-face session, some students, they don't attend. They just learn from the self-instructional materials and from a recorded, we do record the face-to-face sessions, so students can learn from the recorded face-to-face sessions on the self-instructional materials. Okay. Okay, so for the self-instructional materials, we also have workshops where we brief to the subject matter experts on the processes involved in self-instructional material content development and what is the timeline. We also brief them on the copyright issues. Okay, when you create self-instructional materials for external learners are those beyond the campus. Students who do not come to campus, they are our external learners. Intellectual property or copyright issue is very, very important. So we do, during the workshop, we do explain to the lecturers involved about the copyright and intellectual property issues to make sure that the content that they provide for the self-instructional materials are not something they just cut and paste from any website, from any textbook. Because if we do that, if we just simply copy and paste from any website, any e-books or whatever, we may, MMU, because we're selling these macro-credential courses, it's not freely distributed. So if you sell the macro-credential courses and you provide self-instructional materials, they are not copyrighted, you may be sued. You may, there are some legal implications. You may be sued by the publisher. That's why the copyright intellectual property issues is something very, very important that your lecturers need to know. Okay, right? So these are different types of self-instructional materials we provide to learners. We do have videos, we have a pre-recorded lecture. We also have what we call interactive content, where the learners can interact with the content. Okay, so I'm just going to go through quickly. So when we develop the macro-credential, what's very important is it follows the instructional design principles, right? So each self-instructional material is like about 10 minutes. The only is about 10 minutes. It's about equivalent to 1 hour of SLT. The self-instruction unit usually contains the introduction. When you want to, introduction is to just gain the learner's attention. Maybe it's like a short video, or it's like we give a student a question to think about just to gain their attention. And then we will state the learning outcome, so they know what they need to achieve at the end of the macro-credential course. If needed, we do provide another video perhaps, so to recall a prior learning. For example, there is a macro-credential related to this macro-credential, or is something related to prior learning if needed, but this is not compulsory, right? And then we actually then present the learning content. This is the actual video with the topic, okay, right? And we also have a learning activity related to the topic. For example, if we have a video, we provide a video about a specific topic. We do provide some questions before and after they view the video. So there is a learning activity. And then there is the summary. And finally, there is a assessment. Okay, assessment. Okay, this and assessment. Okay. But this assessment is a formative assessment. It is not the actual assessment for microprudential course. It's an assessment for the SIM. So that's why it's called formative assessment. Just for them to check whether they have understood the content that they have learned through this self-instructional material. Right? So this is just a general flow of how the SIM is created. Basically, the lecturers will need to create the content. They have to give us the script. Then they will submit the content to the centralized center. And at the centralized center, for example, LEAD in MMU, we will do the storyboard creation. And the storyboards will be reviewed by the SME, and based on the storyboard that it has been approved by the subject matter expert, we will then develop the self-instruction material, and then it is reviewed by the committee, and then it's completed, and then it's reviewed by the committee, and it has gone through copyright. Then we will just offer it in the microprudential course. Okay, so this is example. The content provided by the lecturers. They give us the script. They give us usually lecturers give us the content through a slide. They just, we give them a template, PowerPoint slide. They just usually put all the raw content in a PowerPoint slide, and then they provide the script, the voice-over script as well. Okay, they submit it to Learn through the Google Drive, G Drive, and then based on the PowerPoint slide that the lecturers provide, our instructional designers will create the storyboard. We will create the storyboard like this. And then we will develop it. Okay, right? Oh, it has to be reviewed first. Okay. Then we develop the video or interactive content or whatever. Right? Example. Okay, so it's an example. Right? Okay, so that's an example of the self-instructional material. Sorry. Yeah. So that's an example of a self-instructional material. But that's a simple video. That's a simple video. Yeah. Right. right? So we pre-recorded videos are like just the lecturers. They were pre-recorded videos are like lecturers doing a lecture. So we do help the lecturers to just develop a nice. Because when you give a lecture, they provide that is like the content at the back, right? So so we do help in terms of how to, the PowerPoint slide itself. You will help in terms of making it look nicer. Okay, so for example, like this, this. So this is like a pre-recorded lecture. Okay, so this one, the lecture there, but there is also the content provide like the slides that students can see. Okay? Right. Yeah. All right. And also we have interactive content. Okay. So I think I don't have to explain about self-instruction materials. Self-instruction materials are very important because it actually motivates the learners because they can learn on their own. So it really motivates them to really understand the content better, and for them, in order for them to once they understand the content, the topics learned for the specific macroprudential course, it will help them in terms of completing their assessment and pass. It also guides them in learning on their own, for learning on their own. Okay, so they do not really need the support of lecturers. They can actually learn on their own. And it's self-explanatory, meaning that the contents of the materials are something they can learn on their own. It's very, the concepts are clearly understood. Okay, and they don't really need much support again from the lecturers because it's something they can just learn on their own. Okay, this is some of the I think the characteristics of self-instructional materials. Self-contained meaning once they have the self-instruction materials, they don't really need to search for other additional resources. Everything is contained within the self-instruction materials. It's also self-directed because it does provide guidance to the learners by giving complete explanations and about the content itself, and self-evaluating meaning the self-instruction materials do provide certain exercises or practice exercises that they can do to check their progress from time to time and get feedback on their performance. So it's self-evaluating as well. Okay, so again, some examples of self-instructional materials. Okay, so for macroprudential courses, it's very important it to be related with the industry. So that's why we do provide authentic industry-based case studies in our macroprudential courses. So we do have the facilities for lecturers to do the recording. Okay, and this is a few of the testimonial from our students, right? Okay, right. I think that's all for my sharing. Then perhaps we can open it to answer a question. So I will. Maybe we can open. I will close my computer. Just just talk through my handphone.
Okay, sure. Okay. You want to stop sharing? I can help to stop. Okay.
Let me.
Maybe you can mute the mic in your phone. or either one? Okay. Okay, so Dr. Tengku Putri is currently trying to access back, so let's just wait. Okay. In the meantime, if anyone have any questions, you are more than welcome to unmute.
Hello?
later on.
Hello,
Yes,
I'm
doctor.
actually here.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay. Alhamdulillah. Can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Okay. So we are waiting for the questions from the audience. So if anyone would like to unmute, you can unmute your mic, or you can also put in the chat box. Okay. So we do have one question from Dr. Abdul Shakur. Can I read it, or do you have access? Shall I read it?
Yes. It's
Okay.
real.
So the question is, do micro-credentials creators need to be affiliated to an organizations or institutions, or can they work by themselves? In your case, in MMU case, I believe.
Okay. What do you mean by affiliated? You mean unpacked from a candidate program?
No, the creators, the micro-credentials creators, do they need to be affiliated to an organizations or institutions, or can they work by themselves?
Oh yes, of course. You is just that if you are UIM, I don't know what is the regulation for UIM lecturers, but for MMU lecturers, while they're still working with MMU, they cannot offer on their own. They have to be offered through MMU because they are currently working under with MMU. Okay, so I do not know what is the regulation in UIA, but anybody can develop credentials and they can just sell at any platform. For example, if you want to develop your own personal credential course, you can develop it and then you can sell it through, for example, through Udemy, Coursera, up to you. You can, but if it's through but if it's of course it is a platform through UIA own credential platform. Of course, it has to be you have to be affiliated with UIA, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So in the case of MMU, you actually only allow MMU staff to offer the program through MMU micro-credentials.
Yes,
Okay.
because there are some regulations that they need to follow as MMU employee. So they cannot just simply, offer their own personal credential in other platforms.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you. Is there any other questions? Anyone would like to unmute the mic?
Assalamualaikum. Can I ask a
Sure.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Muhammad Naha from Department of Economics. I have two questions. The first one is, in the case of MMU, when do the students have to do the payment for the MC or micro-credential? And then the second one also about payment. Just give us some idea on the subscription charge on the subscription charged by the platform provider to MMU to place your program, micro-credential program. Thank you.
All right. When you talk about payment just now, it's the learner, they pay for
the students, yes.
Okay. We offer our credentials through a platform. So what the learners need to do is they will go to the platform I showed just now, previously. Basically, they go to the platform, they select any course, any credential course on the platform, and then we also provide an online payment mode. They can pay online. So they can just pay immediately through that payment gateway in the platform. So we basically, in our case, we charge about 500 ringgit Malaysia. For social science, non-IT courses is 500. Like for example, from the for business courses, business credential courses is only about 500 ringgit. For standalone credential courses that are not from any accredited program is also 500 ringgit. But for technology courses is 700 ringgit Malaysia. So they pay online through the payment gateway provided in the platform.
Doctor, just a quick one. When do they pay? Before, in the middle, or after?
Before they take the courses.
Okay.
Before.
Okay, thank
All right. In fact, we have students from China. They take, for example, the macro-credential course. They fail. Let's say they fail because the students in China they want to later on further their studies in MMU. So they take macro-credentials first in China, about 8 subjects in macro-credential mode, and then they need to do grade transfer when they come to MMU, right? You know, when they become an MMU student, they need to do grade transfer. They still pay. For example, if they fail one macro-credential, because they need to complete all. If they fail one, they cannot do the grade transfer. So they have to retake the macro-credential course. Even then, they still pay. They still pay the same rate, which is 500 for that course. So they pay online through the platform. So the platform itself, we subscribe to actually Open Learning. We subscribe to Open Learning. We pay about 24,000 per year. Why we are doing it? Why we do have our own platform for our students on campus, which is based on the Moodle platform. But we decided to use Open Learning because we felt it is more suitable for it's very easy to offer macro-credentials to external students, external learners when using the Open Learning platform. And because Open Learning platform also provides the digital badges together with the subscription. So we don't have to subscribe to another digital credentialing platform. It has its own digital credential. They collaborate with Credible for the digital badges. So that's why we have subscribed to Open Learning for our macro-credential learning platform. And it's very easy to use by both the trainers, the lecturers, as well as for students, and as well for us to manage the students in the platform. You can do everything. We can register the students. They can learn there. They can do the assessment there. Everything is there in the platform. Okay.
Okay. Right. There's another questions. 500 ringgit for all micro-credentials. I think just now Dr. Tunku Putri have mentioned 500 is per micro-credential course, right? Yeah.
But it can be
IT.
but that's because it's in a credit program. For standalone, for example, in USM, they provide a standalone courses for nurses, I think, not mistaken. The nurses, they do it for continuous professional development. Because nurses in Malaysia, they need to do CPD every year. So they do provide CPD standalone macro-credential courses, which meaning that it's not related, it's not from any academic program, it's just for professional development. The nurses only pay 50 ringgit. 50 ringgit per macro-credential course, but it's very, very short. Ours like 2 weeks, right? And it can be grade transferred. Theirs is not, we cannot do any grade transfer for that particular course. And it's very short. It's only about 50 ringgit for just one video. It's very, very short. Yeah.
Okay. So your priority is micro-credentials that lead to credit transfer.
For MMU, but we do offer the standalone courses. But even our standalone courses are like professional courses. We do provide, for example, introduction to Photoshop, all this. So in the end, the students will get an Adobe certification for our professional. So it's like professional development for professional courses. We have another standalone one for robotic automatic processing. There is also a professional course, but it's not from an accredited program. We do have that as well.
So those, again, the Photoshop and whatnot, those cost 500 ringgit per course.
Yes.
Okay. Right. Okay. Thank you. And is there any other questions?
Assalamualaikum. From Mira, and may I ask question to Dr. Tunku?
Sure. Go ahead. Yes, please.
Diana from IWE Research. I would like to ask, this is also about cost. Roughly, Doctor, how much actually the cost that MMU spend for per one particular course? For the unpack from the academic and also the standalone, just roughly from the starting. That is the question.
At the moment, I think the cost for our side is probably the cost manpower cost. So the cost would be like, basically, the cost it will probably be the softwares that we buy to develop the instruction materials, the payment, basically the salary for the lecturers, as salary for the developers. However, it is what we've done in MMU is that we do not pay them. It is all part of the workload. Part of the, it's part, for example, for lecturers, it's under their KPI. Okay, lecturers to develop credential courses, we do not pay them extra, but it is part of the KPI, as well as they get less teaching workload for the conventional courses. And for the multimedia designers, we work with our multimedia production unit. So their salary also paid by MMU. Okay.
So the cost is just for like applying the IP and then for the platform, isn't it? What?
Yeah. So we do pay the platform for 24,000 per year. The IP, and we pay, of course, the copyright for copyright. Okay. We do purchase some softwares, but that's one, we subscribe softwares about maybe per year we subscribe about 6,000, because software is like you have to subscribe yearly now, about 6,000 per year for softwares. But so far there has been ROI, because from the number of students that we get, there has been return of investment.
Okay, because that will be my second question. Is it worth it? Do the MMU got profit or at least break even in terms of the cost spend?
It started off with we just break even, but now we have it's now profitable. Has been profitable since last year. It was break even when we started in 2021. It was just first year was just break even, but now it's now profitable. Because since we gain traction, there are more and more students, especially from international students. So I think it has been profitable, and we have felt that this is a worthwhile investment for the university, because we are reaching out to learners beyond the campus, and mainly from the industries. And we have also signed contracts with several companies to provide training to their staff through the micro-credentials. Okay, so it is a worthwhile investment for MMU.
Right. Thank you, Doctor.
Okay. Right, thank you. Is there any other question?
It's just that it's not easy. You have to, I'm not saying there are no challenges. There are challenges, especially when it involves the SMEs, because we do understand lecturers, they also have a lot of work to do. They have research to do. They have their own classes to teach, the normal conventional classes to teach. So to buy in the lecturers, it was very challenging for us in the beginning. Okay, so we had to do a lot of training, we had to do a lot of briefing, we had to do a lot of convincing to the lecturers so that they will come on board. But now after the past 2 years, when they noticed the profit, and then so far, alhamdulillah, they have been supportive. But it was challenging in the beginning. I have to admit, it was very challenging for us in the beginning to gain the support of the lecturers, actually. Okay.
All right. Okay, thank you. Dr. Haruna, you have a question?
Yeah, thank you so much, Prof. I really want to ask about the content of a particular course. For example, for every course, we have course outline. So do you think the micro-credential for that particular course should cover everything from the course outline, or we can just select, certain topics and cover it in it?
Okay. In our case, we do cover all topics, but we break down the topics to, we divide the topics to 3 different micro-credential courses. Okay. Just now I showed you the change management course. We actually, from that one subject, we then unpack to 3 different micro-credential courses. So that we divided the topics between 3 different micro-credential courses. That's what we did in MMU. Okay. Why we still cover all topics, because we want to provide the opportunity for students to later do grade transfer if they want to enroll into the academic program. That's the reason why we still cover all topics. But if you feel that you want to just develop a macro-credential that does not lead to meaning that you want to just sell a macro-credential, it doesn't necessarily lead to an academic subject. You can just select 1 or 2 topics from your course and sell it as a macro-credential course, because you feel that you don't really want to sell it as an accredited program. You just want to sell it as a standalone course. You can just pick any topic and develop it on its own. But students cannot do grade transfer if you don't cover all topics. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
Right. Okay, because thank you. But I have a follow-up on that question just now. So means that if we have conventional students actually registering for conventional program and they finish 1 micro-credentials, which is part of the academic course, means that they will not be able to have a credit transfer because you will need that 3 credit hours to be transferred. Is that right?
Yeah. You need to complete all the topics from a subject in order to do the grade transfer.
I see. So it is impossible for students to complete certain, like for example, week topic 1 to 3 in the micro-credentials, the remaining they can join in the class. There's no such flexibility.
Yeah. That's possible. That's possible as well. Meaning like you want to offer only parts of that course in micro-credential mode, the rest they take it on campus. Yeah, that's possible as long as they complete all the topics.
I see. Okay.
This one, the one that we did is because everything is offered. The entire course is offered as a macro-credential course. That's why we cover all topics in 3 different macro-credentials. But if you're offering, but if you give an option to the student that okay, only maybe topic 1 to 3 is in macro-credential mode, the rest you can come to campus to complete the course. Then you can do it that way as well. The most important thing is to cover all the topics in a course, right? Did you understand, Prof?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's okay. Yeah.
I see. All right. Thank you. Another questions, because I actually logged in just now to your platforms and I saw there's a learning support. Is it learning facilitator? So I assume this is a faculty members that actually taking care of the micro-credentials. So how do you compensate these people? Do they have a reduction in teaching load? Because development, you have reductions in teaching load, but what about running the course? Do they have also a reduction in teaching load?
Okay, if they're trainers, and the trainers is some of them, if you offer it to specific clients in a corporate sector, they are paid as trainers. They are paid as trainers. Okay, they even pay. Okay.
So it's outside the arrangement for the teaching load on campus.
Yes.
Okay. I see. Okay. All right. Last opportunities. If anyone would like to ask any questions, feel free to unmute.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Yes.
Doctor, is there any plan for future for example, this is micro, right? Is it possible to plan for future become macro? I mean, the whole let's say certificate or diploma in every single courses within that level to be in terms of this way or method?
Okay, we have just agreed at KPT level. This is just the latest news is that you can develop each course in a program as a macro-credential. You don't really have to unpack. But when you say macro, it's like the whole program is macro-credential. No, macro-credential is only either at the course level, or topic or module. Meaning that one course can be one macro-credential. That's possible. But you cannot one diploma or macro-credential. No. Do you understand?
Yes, Doctor. Thank you.
Yeah, at course one course or one subject can be one macro-credential. Or if you want to unpack further, it's one course can consist of 3 different macro-credentials. Okay, so it's up to you how small, how much you want to unpack. But one degree or one diploma cannot be a macro-credential. Okay, it has to be the most macro level is the one subject, one micro-credential. Okay, so for example, if UIAM you have developed MOOCs, for example, I believe you have developed MOOCs, that MOOC can be one micro-credential. Because the MOOC is like a course, right? It covers all the topics in a course, right? So that MOOC can be a micro-credential already.
Okay. Yep. Anyone else? Nope. Okay. So one last questions from me. On micro-credentials course is digital certification and whatnot. And then you mentioned just now it's actually mapped to the MQA. So do you also get, when it is micro-credential certification, do you also map to MQA requirement certification?
What do you mean by MQA requirement certification?
Because MQA have certifications, they have certain requirements. So you do submit that kind of documentations to MQA to get the certifications from MQA? Because you
once okay, MQA is really for the specific certification for micro-credentials. The first thing you need to do is you need to there is actually you need to inform, you need to notify the micro-credential to MQA that you're offering these micro-credentials. You have to do that. That's compulsory. You need to notify.
Okay, so it's for notification purposes, not so much of approval.
No, because you have developed the courses from an accredited programs. So accredited programs are approved programs for MQA. So all you need to do is just notify MQA you are offering micro-credentials from this program. Okay.
So that's for academic program. How about for the non-academic program?
For non-academic programs, you need later on, at the moment, it hasn't happened yet, but what will happen is that you need to send your micro-credentials to what we call the I think the latest JGP it's a verification center. I think they appointed 9 universities at the moment, and maybe will apply later. But basically, I think I'm not sure. Maybe UIM is on the universities that were appointed.
No.
Okay. Basically, these universities are appointed to be what they call micro-credential verification centers. So if it's a standalone course, you need to submit your micro-credentials to be assessed, to be evaluated by these verification centers, and they can basically like put a stamp that this course is of quality and can be sold. Yeah, so
I see.
So that is standalone, but it hasn't happened yet. But it's going because they have just appointed. I think they will inform the universities later on. Other universities that these are the 9 university appointed as the verification center. So if you develop standalone, you can send your micro-credential courses, standalone micro-credential courses to these verification centers. You can, but there is some payment involved lah. You have to submit, you have to pay. It's not free service.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's another cost that we have to take into account.
Or unless, but there is a courses that may not have professional certification. For example, like Adobe. If you're working with like you're offering Adobe courses, for example, perhaps you can get that approval from you can get certification, not certification, you can get it verified by Adobe. So therefore your micro-credential will have like it's something you collaborate with Adobe, for example. That can be done also. Okay, so the one that the verification center is mainly for standalone courses that may not have any professional certification organization that can certify. All right.
So certification or verification can come from verification center or industry who actually the vendor of the applications which we certify.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Alhamdulillah. Okay. So because with us, we do have a number of deans, and then which I'm very sure they're also interested with micro-credentials. So I really hope the topics that we covered today that give you some ideas on how to strategize to move forward, inshallah. Okay, so thank you so much, Dr. Tunku Putri. It's really nice to have you today.
But I would advise to to UIA to develop. We have that centralized coordination steering committee in the beginning. You should start with that first.
Yeah, we do have the centralized is already already formalized. It's just that now I think that in the process of getting the buy-in, and then we learn a lot. I mean, like especially me, because the microcredentials is currently part under Center for Professional Development. I learned a lot from how MMU construct the proper structure. So I believe that's something that we can also incorporate to move forward, inshallah. Okay, so thank you so much again, Dr. Tunku
Thank you very
Putri.
much.
Thank you so much, everyone. May Allah is our undertakings to move forward with this initiative, inshallah. Let's end the session with tasbih kifarah and salatul ans. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik asyhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wal asri innal insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa amilus solihati wa tawassaw bil haqqi wa tawassaw bis sabr. Ramadan Mubarak, everyone. Thank you again, Dr.
Ramadan Mubarak.
Putri.
Ramadan Mubarak to all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum.